Slipping out from the shadows, here's your look at the Hasbro Fortnite Victory Royale series, Chaos Agent. Undermine the order from the shadows. This 6-inch Chaos Agent action figure shows the fan-favorite character outfit in-game level detail, taking the on-shelf Battle Royale to the next level. Ready up, the time has come to assemble a squad and unlock the legendary Fortnite game universe in the real world. The Victory Royale series takes Fortnite figures to the next level with highly posable and detailed designs based on fan-favorite character outfits from the Fortnite video game. You never know who's going to drop into your collection next, but always remember to thank your bus driver. Before we commit to looking at the Chaos Agents, let me first send out a big thank you to the folks over at Hasbro that kindly provided the sample not only of the Fortnite Victory Royale series Chaos Agents, but some of the other Fortnite Victory Royale series figures that we've looked at lately here on this channel. With that being said, let's go ahead and grab my ruler, put it right to the very top of the Chaos Agent's head. The figure stands 6 3/4 of an inch tall, or 17 centimeters tall. Then for some size comparisons, let's bring in some of the other Fortnite Victory Royale series figures that we've had a look at. Just recently, we had a look at Scythe. Didn't bring in Ollie for this one, just simply because we're only comparing the figures. And then a while ago, we also had a look at Ripley, which still is one of my favorite figures that Hasbro's done for the Fortnite Victory Royale series. While I would say that Chaos Agent is roughly the same size maybe as Scythe, he's certainly a lot shorter than the previously looked at Ripley. Looking now at the accessories that come included with the figure, starting first, he comes included with a really interesting Ooze chamber back bling. Now this, of course, will attach to the back of his torso. Sort of looks like a gas tank that has some ooze trickling out from the bottom as well as the sides. It's mostly sculpted here in a more shinier black plastic, but there are a few little details that they have gone in there and painted in. And it's a really interesting looking backpack. And of course, like all other backpack cases it plugs into the back of the figure's torso. You can see there's a hole right there. Plugging into the back. One thing that's nice about using the shinier black plastic is not only does it match his helmet, but it also is a breakup from the otherwise all black that we're getting here for the figure. It does, of course, result in the figure being slightly back heavy. I still wish that these figures could have come included with display stands. The figure also comes included with a machine gun. And once again, molded all here in black plastic. At least the undercarriage of the gun has been painted a more military green, and the bottom of the clip they've striped off with red. This can fit into his hand. Really no other place that's going to fit onto the figure. I'll put that in his hand in a second. And then last and certainly not least, and possibly my favorite thing that comes included with it, he gets the Chaos Scythe harvesting tool, which, like the backpack, is all done here in a more shinier black plastic. It looks like it's literally been forged out of black oozing oil. There's a little bit of breakup of paint that gets added in there. You can see like just here and here, it's an off coloring of almost like a silver color that they've used for the handle. Now this again fits into his hand. We're going to go ahead and put both the accessories into his hand now. And being that he does have at least gripping hands, he has the means to then hold both the accessories. There's the harvesting tool, and then we'll go ahead and do the machine gun. There isn't really a right or wrong way, although you could say this hand right here is a little bit better suited for holding like the machine gun. But in both the cases, it looks like the hands are identical. So like one doesn't have a trigger finger over the other where it has to say, okay, yeah, you have to do it on this side, put the gun on this side, scythe on the other. You can completely decide for yourself which hand you want to have him holding these accessories. One thing about, though, the scythe, I'm going to just go ahead and take this out of his hand for right now. You can see that there's an open hole along the top. I think it's more cosmetic than it is actual practical. The reason why I say that is if you look on the back of his backpack, I couldn't help but notice there's a little lip of plastic that sticks out that seems like it belongs there only to clip onto an accessory. Well, it doesn't clip onto his gun. There doesn't seem to be a matching, like for example, if you take the back of the machine gun, nothing matches up shape-wise. The only other thought I had was that you could take then the scythe and you clip it onto the back, although it's really not intended to do, though. I mean, you rest it on there, it's barely going to stay in place. So I really don't think that hole is there, specifically to line up to the back of the backpack. The backpack simply just has a clip sticking out of it. Anyways, though, we will leave off both the accessories for the time being as we have a look at the Chaos Agent. I suppose while we're at it, we can also spin the figure around. So you can see that the way they've sculpted in the tank, the tubes that come out, even though they're really part of his back torso, Kind of almost also looks like it's coming out of the backpack too. I guess what we'll do is we'll leave this off for this time being. For the risk that it may fall off, let's get a closer look at the helmet. I don't know what it is about me and liking gas mask characters. Of course, you know I'm a big fan of Harry Warden. And it does bear some of a slight resemblance to Harry Warden, maybe mixed with Black Mask. I think I really like the elements done here, where again, it's an all-black plastic mask. It isn't removable, by the way. It's all part of his head sculpt. You can rotate it back and forth. Of course, he does have the tubes that run out from the sides of the mask that go all the way back to the torso here. They allot for enough space that, yeah, technically you can rotate the head back and forth. I wouldn't rotate it too far the extreme, though. As you can see, like pulling it to the one side does add stress to the one side of the mask. The exact same thing would happen when you did it the other side as well. So when it comes to the articulation, I would say like only rotate the head maybe to that and to that side back and forth. As for the rest of his costuming, again, it's a lot of black on black, so it really does go a long way that they've made this a darker shade of black, and making it also a more semi-gloss finish does make it help to break it up and look differently than the rest of his suits. Now, his undershirt is still that darker black, also has a nice red tie, little red handkerchief, and they've painted in there red buttons as well. The jacket is generally a softer plastic, making use of, again, that matte black plastic. He does have these sleeves, which are a continuation of that same matte black. And one thing that's nice about it, though, is that the way they've pegged the figure's hands, the hands are actually purple, as you can see there, and then the gloves go over top of it. Again, not separate pieces. But then you can see a little bit of the sleeve tucking out from the bottom of the shirt, or bottom of the jacket. He's generally a quite spindly-looking character, generally very skinny in the legs, which does cause some problems when it comes to the figure standing upright, especially when you're adding accessories and you're adding specifically the back harvesting or the back storage tool. When you put the back ooze chamber, that's actually what it's called, on the back of his torso, yeah, that as well as all the other accessories you can put on the figure do make him a little more top-heavy. As for the articulation on the figure, we've already discussed a little bit on the head sculpt, but yeah, rotating it back and forth, you really don't want to move it back too far, because yeah, already I can see that it's starting to tug on the back of his torso. That may potentially even rip out if you're not too careful. The head looks up, the head looks down. And you can also rock it back and forth too. But in addition to that, at the base of the neck, there's also a secondary ball joint. It's nice to see that they're using double ball joints for these figures. So the neck does give you a little more extra mileage when it comes to moving the head up and down like this. When it comes to the shoulders do come out. They're a little on the tight side, I have to admit. This one arm, I'm going to have to go in there with a hairdryer or even submerge it in hot water to soften up that joint so I can actually budge it. There we go. It was really tight. I didn't think I was going to be able to move that. But yeah, the arms do hinge out at a comfortable 90-degree angle bend. This was always going to be sort of at a 45 until I finally, there we go, got it at a 90 degrees. You can take then the arms and rotate them all the way around. The figure has a swivel in the bicep halfway up the sleeve, or halfway up the bicep section of the sleeve. The figure also has a double hinge on the elbow. I love the fact that they are using double hinges on these figures. Hands also rotate all the way around. And while they are rotating, you'll see that they rotate at the purple part and not at the glove. And the hands can also hinge back and forth this way too. Now, when it comes to this torso section, it's a softer plastic. It certainly helps to aid with the crunch that's underneath the jacket. You can move the torso up and down this way, and you can also rotate the torso back and forth this way too. Getting down to his spindly legs, you can hinge the legs out, giving a full splits. And you can also take the legs and move them forward and move them back. 3/4 of the way up the thigh, there's a swivel cut. And in addition to that, there's a double hinge on the knee. There's one. Just get the second bend going. There's the second one right there. And when it comes down to the Chaos Agent's feet, straighten out his legs here. We didn't spend really any time at all talking about the feet. You can see like the socks themselves match the same purple as the undersection of his gloves. You can see there's purple and purple. He has a little striping of red down below in his footwear as well. But when it comes to his feet, the feet move back and forth. You can ankle pivot them. And in case you're curious, no, the figure doesn't have articulation in the toes, but he does have pegals on the undersides of his feet. The only thing that would make this guy a home run hit, I mean, I really already liked the design of the character, but again, I really wish that all these characters could have come included with like display stands, especially for a character that's so lean and slender like the Chaos Agent. By the time you start putting in his accessories, let's, for example, put in his machine gun and take his scythe, slide that into his hand as well. You're really wreaking havoc and requiring a lot of balancing when it comes to these figures. I'm probably going to ultimately just get this guy a display stand so he's not going to fall over on me. Let's hope he doesn't fall over for the rest of this review. But yeah, between having the back torso with that extra backpack on his back and then putting accessories in his hand and then adding into the fact he does have very lanky looking legs, you may have some difficulty when it comes to actually being able to stand the Chaos Agent, which is why I would certainly recommend using a display stand if you have one already in your collection somewhere. Chaos Agent is a figure that if I saw out in the wild, I would pick up right away. I've always been intrigued by characters that are dressed in suits, which usually translates to a very skinny looking character in most of the cases. While there is a lot of black being used here, Hasbro did a good enough job of breaking things up nicely. So like, for example, the Ooze chamber that goes on his back is a shinier black that goes along with his mask and goes along with the Scythe, so that even though there is a lot of black happening here, it's different types of black, different shades of black that they're using. And then of course you get those nice little pops of red on the back of his tank, the back of his mask, the tie, the handkerchief, and in areas of his gloves and his shoes that really help bring a little more extra color to the table as well. Now, the figure does have 3 accessories. I didn't display all 3 of them with the figure. I don't know whether I'm going to display him with the machine gun or just instead decide to display him with the Chaos Scythe. In either way, though, I really do think that I would recommend, if you are picking a figure up like this, just by the nature of the lankier design of his body, use a display stand. As you can see, I've already used one here in Final Looks. I'm still surprised that Hasbro didn't include display stands, but really when you think about it, there's not a lot of companies anymore that are including figures with display stands, except for a few. Of course, I always commend those companies for using display stands, but really in a case like Chaos Agent, use one. Because when you factor in all the accessories the figure carries around with them, not to mention the more heavier backpack on the back of his torso, the figure is going to be very prone to falling over. In fact, he fell over a couple of times before I finally just said, forget about it. I'm going to bring myself in a display stand. What do you guys think, though, of the Chaos Agent? Let me know down below in the comments section. And again, a big thank you to the folks over at Hasbro that provided the sample of the Fortnite Victory Royale series Chaos Agent that we could have a look at in this video. And if you are new to this channel, you're enjoying the content that you're seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notification, so of course you're getting those friendly reminders of whenever not only Fortnite Victory Royale series figure reviews are going to be coming up, but other reviews as well. Hitting that bell notification is crucial to get those friendly reminders. And of course, make sure you keep your peepers peeled to this channel at all times, because there's always going to be new content coming your way on a regular basis. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.